I'm just going to press record. So brilliant. Okay, so welcome to our MentorHER information session. Thank you so much for joining us. I know everyone's super busy and we all have commitments in the evening as well. So we really appreciate your time. We will keep to time so everyone can get on. But thank you so much for joining us. My name's Emma Grant. I'm the head of talent and skills at Manchester Digital and the proud sort of creator and driver behind DigitalHER several years ago. So we're super happy to be bringing a new program MentorHER to you, and it's a huge thanks to Auto Trader. So Heather is here from Auto Trader, who you will hear from in a moment. They are sponsoring this and really putting their kind of actions forward and not just kind of words. They are really supporting the community. So we are going to talk you through a little bit about what the program consists of, what it looks like, what the commitment and the timescale is for you as well. But just before we do that, I'd really like to just explain where DigitalHER came from and what it's all about and what we've achieved so far. So when we set this up, we'd been doing things ad hoc, and we decided that we really needed to progress this forward into being more impactful, more present across the region. So at the heart of what DigitalHER is about is if she can see it, she can be it. We purposefully positively frame that rather than you can't be what you can't see. If you can't see it, you can't be it, because that psychologically gives us a negative mind frame and makes us think about the negative. Our mission is to empower more young girls and women across Greater Manchester to consider careers in technology. It started out as girls and then very quickly broadened to women at every point in their life, because we know that that's really important, as well as encouraging the next generation to encourage women that will bring diversity now and in the future into our industry from all kinds of experiences and backgrounds. We use the power of real role models. We have an amazing inspiration wall. So if you're not already involved in it and you haven't seen it, please take a look at it. We will send it out as post-event information. But please take a look at that. There's nearly 300 women that work in tech. So yes, there are not enough, but there are lots of us. And it's really inspiring, and it just makes me quite happy to look at it every now and again. So please take part in that if you are a woman working in tech and feel like you want to help make a difference and join that community. But we say real for a reason. It's not about putting women on a pedestal. It's not about making you perfection or a superhero. It's about making you real and relatable, celebrating your achievements, but supporting and sharing your struggles and your challenges for the wider community. The DigitalHER programme is also about providing valuable awareness and insight sessions for young people, women and career changers to consider who are tech employers, where do tech roles exist beyond some of the traditional, top names that you might think about, and where are those opportunities locally? How can we make sure we are connecting local people to local talent? We also support our outreach programmes and enrichment through supporting our educators and our careers advisors for young people and for people coming through the university systems and through apprenticeships as well, to make sure that they really have informed decisions and their key influencers have information to help them make the right choices at the right times. We provide a supportive and empowering community of women who work in tech through our meetups and through our inspiration wall. But mentoring has been a new addition over the past few years to that. And that's because we've listened to what women that are working with us, that are volunteering with us, said, that work is great and really impactful and really important. But women that work in tech also need support still. That journey and that challenge and those barriers, that equity, as we've seen this year through International Women's Day, is not there yet. So we decided to create, with the wonderful Heather, our MentorHER programme, which is around supporting people in their early careers in the first phase. So if we just look at what the first phase means and our focus and why, This will focus on early careers. We've had to start somewhere. We know there's a lot more to do, but we've defined early career as being in your first 1 to 2 years of working in your tech role. That doesn't mean you can't have had a previous life with several years or more experience, but just working in and around the tech sector. The reason behind this is our aim initially is to support retention and progression of women. So we know that employers work really hard. There's lots more work to do, but they work really hard to attract women into their tech teams and across their business. But we find that women leave the business really, really quickly, at a much higher rate than men, and tend not to progress on average as quickly as men. So we want to support that. We want to build confidence and enable women that are in the sector to thrive and progress as they wish to. Progress doesn't mean necessarily progressing up. It could mean progressing out horizontally, vertically, or all of the above. And we know that women will want different things out of their progression, and that's for you to define and us to support that. So I'm going to hand over to Heather, who's going to take you through what the programme looks like, what the timescale is, and where those asks are from you in terms of commitment. Heather, over to you.
Hello, so I'm Heather. I'm a learning partner at Auto Trader. I'm just mega happy to be part of this, actually, because I'm wildly passionate about women in industry, and in particular tech, and the impact we've had in our organisation with early careers. And I went to one of the MentorHER days as well many years ago with schools. So yeah, hugely a passion project for me. I'm going to take you through just a little bit about what it looks like, really, because I know mentorship can mean different things in different places. So for us, we're really thinking about being a mentor is anyone can be a mentor. A mentor is someone you can learn from, and we can all learn from each other. So there's a sense of we'll have mentors and mentees, but for us, there's a real understanding that there may be a bit of reverse mentoring as well. So what you can learn from each other at different points in your career is really big as well. We're going to commit to some things that we're going to offer both parts in that. So for mentors, development, so access to some personal development for you as well, not just you sort of giving time over to support, it's also accessing some things for you. The reverse mentoring I've just spoken about, enabling the future as well, that real connection to knowing that there may be people struggling or coming up through the industry where we know there's challenges and difficulties, and also volunteering. So if you are in an organisation that has volunteering days, you may be able to use them as well against your allowances. For mentees, we're going to offer you connections, so wider in your network in tech. We know it's a bit awkward, and you start networking at any time's a bit awkward and strange, isn't it? Let alone when you first start out in the industry. So we really want you to not only be mentor, but also become a little bit of a community together with your mentees as well. Feel supported in your career. We know people will be in different organisations with different levels of access. So being able to access that support is really important. Understanding and overcoming barriers as well. So things that feel like they're sort of roadblocks for you in your career. Personal development as well. So much as we're doing with mentors, offering you some personal skills that you can add into your daily role. And then also learn as well. So we know in tech, and we do this a lot internally, there's a lot to be learned across areas as well. So giving you access to that. So for mentors and mentees, we really want both parties to be able to walk away with a group of things that not only support you in this program, but also you can take back to your daily role and your future career as well. So what does it look like? At the moment, this is our last session, our last drop-in session, and then we'll start to send out applications. Applications makes it sound like we're going to be doing some sort of job interview. It's very much for us to be able to match up the right people and to understand who you are, what your skills are on both parties, to make sure that we're connecting the right amount of people, the right type of people together. You don't have to be in the same role. You don't have to be in exactly the same area. It's going to be more about that tech theme, and we'll be able to do some specific matching back of house with all of those things as well. So applications will be sent. Then in May, we'll take some time to do the matching. And then in June, we'll do something called a kickoff session, which I'll go into a little bit in the next bit. And then July to December is the core of the relationship. So that's when we expect you to start your relationships. We have things called check-ins and connect sessions, which I'll explain in a minute. And then in January, we really want to get the community back together and have a celebration of what we've achieved, because we know the impact of when we get people together in a room, what difference it can make as well. So the rough dates we've got at the minute for this is the 13th of June for kickoff, and then 5th of July for mentors, and 6th of July for mentees. Now, if you're already sat there and thinking, I can't make those dates, we are going to put a little questionnaire on the application. If like 90% of people can't make any of them dates, we'll obviously have to look at other ones. But at the minute, we've just sort of had to go with what's suitable. When we look at that as an actual flow, anything with a star next to it, so the kickoff sessions, the being a mentor, being a mentee, and the celebrations, we're going to ask we do them face to face. It will be on campus at Auto Trader, the centre of Manchester, roughly about 3 hours, possibly 4, maybe including network time. We're trying to give you as much in as little time as possible, because we know taking a whole chunk of time out can be really difficult for people as well. So we're going to offer those as them. Your check-ins and your connect sessions are totally voluntary as well. So if you think back to this, that July to December is going to be the time you'll be in relationship. So we're asking for most people to try and meet once every 4 weeks. It's up to you and your relationship. I think most of them will be online. Again, it's totally up to you when and where, depending on location. You might be in an office next to each other, you might be opposite ends of Manchester. So we're going to ask for that commitment. The check-ins are going to be individually based. So if you are a mentor or a mentee and you've come up against a bit of a blocker, one of us will be available to have a chat with you. The mentor connects and the mentee connects, they're going to be sessions roughly half an hour online, lunchtime things where we can get people in from the industry, and also we can start to help you develop some skills. So we'll be able to offer some nice little bits that we do internally, and also just to have a chat to see what feels good, what's difficult. Wrapped around all of this as well for the mentors, I'm an accredited coach, and quite a few of my team members now, we all got our qualification last year through an apprenticeship actually. So if anyone is in the midst of portfolio or anything, we will be offering coaching to the mentors as well, and we'll be hoping to impart some of those skills through. So if there is anyone who would like some professional coaching for your role as a mentor, we'll be able to offer that as a bit of wraparound. So they're the 2 separate sort of lanes, tracks. Anything with a dash line in the middle is where you have them sessions together. So we want you to be a bit of a cohort together. So the kickoff session will be thinking about what are the current challenges for you, what's happening in the industry, a little bit of a connecting up and seeing what the sort of general atmosphere is and the feel is. And then the celebrations will be, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be a celebration. So it'll be very much a community, but we're going to separate you off into mentors and mentees relationship and offer you a really wrapped around support to be able to support you through that relationship. Obviously, key commitments for us, and being a mentor and being a mentee session will be getting you to really think about what you're going to offer, how you're going to do it, especially for those who are going to be mentored. What are the key things you want to work on? What do you want to get out of it? And give you a really clear focus. For those being a mentor, will give you all the skills you need as well. So don't feel like if you've not done it before, you're not going to know. We're just going to give you some really core understanding of what you can do and how you can work together. So both parties are going to come to that relationship feeling really ready to go. You're not going to have to do any of the pre-work. You'll both be ready for action with your whatever it is in front of you, ready to go. So I think that's everything. Can you tell it's the end of the day? And I've been online a lot. I just feel like I'm talking. I'm not really sure it's going to come out my mouth, which is always a risky time of night. But hopefully that's been a bit of a rounded explanation of what we're thinking of doing.
Thank you, Heather. Yes, open to questions, really. The thing I would say is we will keep asking you around your commitment. Are you in the right mind space? Are you in the right space in your career and your challenges to commit to this? While we try to keep it as light as possible in terms of the ask and the expectations, the commitment of that time when you are in your mentee-mentor relationship is super important. We all know life happens, and we know that as women probably more frequently, so that's okay. But in terms of that willingness to continue and support with that. There is that commitment to try to keep that space free, and your own commitments around what you want to get out of it, and what does your success or what does your own personal progression look like as the mentee. It's really important you start to frame and shape that, because that will look completely different for everybody, and we want to make sure you own that, and we don't determine that for you, because it will be very, very personal. So any questions, thoughts, comments? How does everyone feel about the potential opportunity?
This sounds great. I mean, I don't think I've got questions at this stage. I think you covered everything. But yeah, I'm just super excited to be involved. I mean, I recently started a new management role, and it's new territory for me. So I'm really keen to get a mentor. It's actually something my dad said. He was like, "Hey, you should probably get a mentor." And so when this came, kind of when I saw about this, it felt like it was meant to be. So I'm really excited, and thank you for organizing all this.
No problem. Yeah, it is really great timing, and it definitely, kind of trust us, trust the process. We are we want to give structure and support, but we don't want to be prescriptive. We want you to sort of find your own way, to give you agency, and to empower you, going back very much to the digital her words, inspire and empower. And that's what hopefully this journey will look like. And at that celebration, we really want you to reflect back, and on those relationships, on your progression, and what next as well for you. I probably should say, as mentees, to make sure the programme is sustainable and we are keeping that community spirit, we will ask you to commit to pay it forward in the future. So if you are chosen to join the programme, we will expect within 12 months, or within a new cohort, that we progress forward into another stage, you to come back as a mentor, and to go through that training, to help us feed back into that as well, into the process. Everyone that goes through mentors and mentees, we will ask for some reflections and look at the programme to make sure we're keeping our processes agile and our delivery, but we will ask you to pay it forward. It is part of that community spirit and building that legacy. So this doesn't just disappear, that this continues to happen, and it's impactful and purposeful.
I hope you get so much out of it as well. You become as excited about it as we are. So it becomes an easy participation.
Yeah, absolutely. If there are questions throughout the whole process, or when we get to the application stage of it, when you are kind of registering your interest or your commitment to join the programme, and to be matched, then please do let us know. We will send this information out to everybody, with the link to consider joining us for this first phase. If those dates don't work for you, or just those commitments, because of whatever's going on, don't work for you, we will have other cohorts running as well into early next year. And if you are on the call and are thinking, it's not quite me, I don't think I can be mentored, a mentor to somebody in their early career, for example, or I'm not quite in my early career, I don't fit that way, what does this mean for me? Actually, keep in touch, keep talking to us, because we've got a number of other phases coming forward, and we're going to be looking at other milestones for women in their careers, whether they're career returners for whatever reason, mid-level, wanting to head up to senior, and university students and graduates as well. So there will be more opportunities coming forward. But thank you all so much for your time. We really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your evening. We look forward to seeing you at one of our kickoff sessions.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.